Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. And leave a donation so I can go out there and get me some camel, some yogurt sauce, some rice pilaf with them almonds, and a nice little salad. Now look, man, it was official. Jake Paul and Canelo was official. Now, you know Jake Paul don't play around. Check this out.
Oh, Canelo, you puta.
And this fucking YouTuber. I just fight real fighters.
Time to expose him. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right. Claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. Bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th. Claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez, you bitch. The truth is you can be bought. You're a money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you. Al Heyman has made you hundreds of millions of dollars and you turned your back on him for this check. Disloyal. And you were begging to do this fight on pay-per-view. But I have loyalty. Loyalty to Netflix, doing the biggest numbers. And you call me a YouTuber, but you've never had a boxing match as big as mine. Remember you told my team that your daughter came home and asked if you were fighting Jake Paul? She was all excited. You said that was the first time your daughter's ever asked you about a fight. And you're screwing over all your Mexican fans by doing your fights in Saudi. It just shows what type of person you are. And I promise you one thing, Canelo. Any fight that you do this year, mine will be bigger. So go fuck off to your boss, you Ring Magazine employee, you pink and orange bitch. And oh, fix that herpy on your lip, you dirty puta.
So what do you think about that? Now, let me give you my opinion. I think Canelo and Turki Alalshikh didn't really have a plan for me. I think Canelo was going to go after Jake Paul because he was going to get paid a whole lot of money. Actually get paid more money in that one fight than I think Turki Alalshikh is going to pay Canelo for Canelo's fighting me. They haven't disclosed the amount, but it was a lot of money that Canelo was going to make. And understandably so. Canelo doesn't need Jake Paul, but Canelo's a businessman. He's still a fighter, but I think Canelo at this point in his career, he's more businessman than fighter. I'm not saying he's not a fighter for those Canelo fans. He's a fighter. But he's transitioned to become a businessman first. And I think he was. I think he was going to fight Jake Paul, make that money in a fight that he felt was an easy fight, and then go hook up with Turki Alalshikh and fight Crawford in September. But this is the issue for me. They had agreed to fight at cruiserweight. So Canelo and Jake Paul at the 200-pound limit. How would Canelo have cut whatever he would have weighed going into the fight? Just because it's at 200 pounds doesn't mean he's going to fight at 200 pounds, right? But my thing is, whatever he ballooned up to, 185, 190, whatever right his walk-around weight is, how do you cut that down to 168 for a Crawford fight in September? I just think that's a recipe for disaster. So nonetheless, I think it was going to be a quick money grab for him in a fight he thought he could easily win. That would have kept him active, and then he could have focused on Crawford. The other thing is maybe Canelo said, hey, I'm going to outsmart everyone, and I'm going to agree to this fight with Jake Paul, which Canelo probably felt would have put some pressure on Turki Alalshikh to try to deliver him something for me. And Turki Alalshikh would have learned the money Canelo's going to make. And then Turki Alalshikh's going to have to come and say, hey, I'm going to either match it or come close to it, but this is going to be the plan. And when you look at what happened with Canelo, Jake Paul, and then Turki Alalshikh getting involved, the person who's winning here is Canelo Alvarez. Jake Paul's sour because he calls himself the face of boxing, right? If Jake Paul was the face of boxing, he shouldn't be so worried about Canelo doing something differently. But Jake Paul has vowed, in whatever fights that he puts on, that his fights will be bigger than Canelo's. I'll say this. Just because you do good business and you're in fights that do great numbers and the fights are orchestrated for you to win, that doesn't make you the face of boxing. Okay? You got to put the work in to be the face of boxing and beat elite competition consistently and be active. Jake Paul is not qualified to be the face of boxing. Now, if the criteria to be the face of boxing was solely based around revenues generated, right, from all streams of income, well, then maybe we could look and talk about Jake Paul. But there's so many other areas when we're talking about the criteria to be the face of boxing. And Jake Paul, those are boxes that Jake Paul has not checked and will never check. So, coming full circle, Canelo seems to be in a win-win. Now, there were some people saying, Hood Champion, where are you getting these numbers from? 300 million, 400. Word on the street is, right? I told you I was going to be like 400 million. Word on the street is Canelo's deal with Turki Alalshikh is for around $100 million a fight. 4 fights, $400 million. That's crazy. But if you take a look at what Canelo did, he played he was playing chess, and he won big time. And if you look at the fights that Canelo has in front of him, in May, Jamal Charlo or Sarkassi, wouldn't think there was too much of a threat. I think Jamal has a chance to make it interesting because of his jab, but Canelo should be the favorite. Fighting Crawford. More risky than Jamal, in my opinion, but still a fight where Canelo should be the favorite, but Crawford can win. Then they go into next year, Hamza Shiraz, Chris Eubank Jr. I mean, sounds interesting, especially Hamza Shiraz. But really, Canelo should be the favorite. Those guys have a chance, but Canelo should be the favorite to win. And then they'll figure out the 4th fight, which may not be so easy for Canelo to win because that could be Turki Alalshikh trying to convince him to fight Benavidez. But Canelo wants no parts of Benavidez. Turki Alalshikh is just kind of grinding on him and trying to convince him to take the David Benavidez fight. But Canelo just doesn't want to fight him. I'll be honest with you. At this point, I don't know why the hell Canelo won't just fight him. You know, they say if it looks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So I think Canelo's putting duck sauce on the carne asada. Do I think he's scared? No. I think Canelo's just ducking the fight because he's ducking it because he feels that he's put in enough work to do what the hell he wants. And David Benavidez is a problem. Canelo knows he's a problem. So Canelo's not putting himself in that situation. But the bottom line is, some people are mad at Canelo at the idea that he was going to fight Jake Paul. And then he comes out talking about don't believe the YouTuber. Look, one thing about Jake Paul, he's not a liar. Jake Paul showing that contract and everything, you could tell in his voice. Jake Paul is agitated. But he had the deal. But Turki Alalshikh, like he said, don't mess with the lion. Turki Alalshikh, Jake Paul, Netflix, there's no one out here that can mess with Turki Alalshikh and that damn Saudi sovereign wealth fund. You can't. And if Turki Alalshikh wanted to really make everyone miserable, he would say, you know what, F all of them. Canelo, I'll give you $1 billion for 5 fights. Everybody shut up. You don't go look nowhere. You come live here. You eat camel with me. You drink these yogurt drinks. You eat this rice. The yogurt sauces on it. You eat these salads with me. You eat these kebabs with me. The bread that they bake in the clay oven that they dig the hole in the ground. But I give you $1 billion for 5 fights. You live here in Saudi. I'll give you a house, Ferraris, everything. You chill here. I'm going to show y'all how this Saudi money works. And I think it's a lesson for everyone involved. Like Turki Alalshikh said, don't mess with the lion, you sheeps. Because Turki Alalshikh ain't playing around. Anyway, what's the future hold for Canelo? Another 2 years in the sport. So there's a chance Canelo could fight Benavidez, could fight Bivol, could fight Bertobiev. Rematch for Bivol is what Canelo really seems to be after. But it won't happen till next year sometime. And it's kind of unfortunate because you look at Benavidez and his performance against Morrell. I mean, coming off I would say a career-defining performance of what David Benavidez put on. You almost want to carry that momentum over into the build-up for a Canelo fight. But Canelo won't do it. It's like Turki Alalshikh said he was trying to make Shakir Stevenson and Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis won't do it. But to not capitalize on the momentum of the Benavidez win, it's kind of like Crawford and Spence. Crawford beat Spence. Crawford had all the momentum going. And then, Spence just, wasn't able to do the rematch. Contract expired, everything. And Crawford was in the breeze. But I understand Spence wasn't 100%. There was stuff going on with Earl Spence. I get it. But talk about an opportunity missed by not capitalizing on the momentum. And for a moment there, it seemed like Crawford was just kind of, wandering aimlessly throughout his career and kind of just meandering around, just trying to figure out what the next move was going to be. And then boom, the Saudis get involved and Crawford's on an upswell. Anyway, let's see what happens next. So many moving pieces. But one thing's for sure, there was no deliberate intent to deliver incorrect information from ESPN. Turki Alalshikh even came out and said that, he's the one who gave misinformation. For those of you who didn't hear.
I will be honest with you. Mm-hmm. I start in the last 48 hours giving wrong information to everyone. To make them go to another site. And when I know...
To make them go to another site. I still don't really understand why he did that, but for Turki Alalshikh to come out and say he lied, that's not good. Gamesmanship on his end, maybe. I know his English is limited, so he probably wouldn't choose the word someone like I would choose. But for him to deliberately mislead people just to kind of shake things up a bit? Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense, and that's not fair to boxing fans. I mean, he created, like, if this was the stocks and investments in the finance world, it's the equivalent of a stock market crash. Everything was just devalued. People started, getting suicidal and shit at the idea of Crawford and Canelo not happening and Canelo doing something else. Then he comes back and breathes life back into the boxing world and breathing life back into the fight. And then you see the stock market, everything recovered and everybody's in the green, and those who invested while there were dips, they became billionaires. Emotional billionaires and shit. But let's see what happens. But I'm going to tell you now, I don't trust nothing no more. I've always said that. Take it with a grain of salt. And I'm taking things with a grain of salt, even from Turki Alalshikh now. Because he's telling us that he will lie. And I never thought that he would do that. But damn. He's telling you he will, so we got to take him for his word at it. Anyway, Canelo got exposed. Some people are sour about it. Others don't care. But I'm telling you, man, I think Canelo really was trying to get that easy money from for that Jake Paul fight. And he was working with Al Heyman. Remember I told y'all? I said I wouldn't be surprised if Al Heyman is somehow involved. Remember I was saying that? And the fight was going to be on Netflix. But I was partially right, because I think I was saying that Turki Alalshikh may be working with them, because I was trying to think about the money and where it would be aired. And then I was like, what if Al Heyman got involved? Because Canelo speaks very highly of Al Heyman. Oh, and by the way, for those of you who didn't know, Al Heyman gave Canelo hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions. You see, Jake Paul doesn't lie. That motherfucker, when Jake Paul decides, okay, you want to play hardball, and he starts, kicking knowledge, he starts spitting facts, Jake Paul is throwing darts at you. And I do believe that all those fighters on PBC, when we sit here and feel bad for them, because when they were in their prime, they were very active. Now most of them aren't very active, but they seem to be happy. Remember, I was telling you, Al Heyman paid his fighters way more than what was reported. He showed them guys how to fish, creating their own LLCs and everything like that. And even Adrian Broner came out, and Adrian Broner said, yeah, it may say I made $10 million, but I made more. And they're like, what are we talking about more? He's like, more. Like, what do you mean more? He's like, oh, more. So what he was saying was like, without saying it, had me to believe that they may report they're making 5 or 10 million, but they're making double that. And you even get people out here who aren't Al Heyman or PBC fans who say Al Heyman is all about the fighters, and the fighters make the most money. Up until recently, Louis the Cubist Sr. said that during the Benavidez Morel post-fight press conference, I think it was a post-fight press conference. Even he said that. But boy, if we only could get a peek behind the tent flap of the secret society and see how all of this stuff is see if there's an inextricable connection between Turkey, between Al Heyman, Jake Paul, Canelo, Crawford, Kinahan, the sanctioning bodies. I mean, boy, if I wish I could dig a little deeper to deliver some answers to you all, because shit's intriguing to me, you know what I'm saying? Always something going on. Anyway, keep cool. Canelo in May, he may not fight Jamal Charlo, because Jamal Charlo and Caleb Plant is like they're trying to get it on. For those of you who are those of you who haven't heard, Jamal Charlo called up Caleb Plant, and that's him right there. And Caleb Plant responded. He just letting them know, hey, you keep talking about my name, and you're looking you're looking to lock horns and roll the dice. We can do that. So we still don't know what's going on. We just know Canelo's fighting in May, and more to come. All right, but Jake Paul and Canelo, it was official, and I do believe Jake Paul when he says Canelo told him that his daughter was excited about the fight because she heard that he was going to be fighting Jake Paul. I do believe that 100%. Jake Paul talk a lot of shit, but he ain't gonna. One thing about you, he ain't gonna say nothing about somebody's child. He's not gonna make up shit like that. He will do some disgusting stuff, but he's not gonna do that. That's one thing I can say. I just don't think Jake Paul would lie like that. But there's no shame in if Canelo's gonna fight Jake Paul. Even Eddie Reynoso said they're gonna fight Jake Paul in May. He said it in Spanish. So it is what it is. But I'm telling you what happened. I think Canelo, Turki Alalshikh talked to him and kind of convinced him not to do it. And Canelo sounded like he knew if he did it, he would get a lot of backlash. But he's looking at the money. And he's become greedy. And you know what? If he can get $1 billion to fight Jake Paul, I think he should do it. I don't think he should worry about fans because you can't make them happy anyway. Make your money. Make your money. But I'll say this, that Jake Paul and Canelo, these people talking about Jake Paul and Canelo, Jake wouldn't last one round with Canelo. Get the hell out of here. Canelo ain't knocking out Jake Paul in one round. Stop it. Jake Paul has learned enough boxing with his size for him to sit there and avoid being knocked out by Canelo for 3 minutes. Now, as the fight goes on, I'm pretty sure Canelo could figure it out. But I just don't think he knocks Jake Paul out in no one round. Bullshit. Don't see it happening. If he goes out there chasing after Jake Paul, who's much bigger, especially if I would have been at cruiserweight, Canelo won't. I don't think he'd be that much bigger. I don't think he'd be that much stronger. He'd just be bigger. Maybe slower. Maybe fatigue faster. Shit could get interesting real quick. And that's the last thing Canelo fans want to see is Jizzle P. Jake Paul, a.k.a. Jizzle P., gets in there and puts the Ohio / Puerto Rican Bing Bings on the Guadalajara, Jalisco native, Canelo Alvarez. Like, that's just something. Lord have mercy. Even I may go jump in a river of man-eating crocodiles butt naked and shit. That would be wild. But Turki Alalshikh's taking care of Canelo, so Canelo doesn't have to worry. But I could see Canelo, if he gets through these 4 fights with Turki Alalshikh, walking into $1 billion payday or something crazy to fight Jake Paul. You just watch. Canelo, as long as he keeps winning, he's going to keep making more and more money. That dude, the way he's going right now, that dude may retire after making $2 billion off boxing. Shit is out of control right now. But get it while you can, because once it's over, it's over. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I think Canelo has earned his right to do what he wants. And I support him. But I also think it's a little bit of, wicked sorcery there to sign a deal with Jake Paul before going into the Crawford fight. And I'll be honest, I think if Canelo would have fought Jake Paul in May and bubbled up to, let's say, 190 pounds, 195 pounds, to come back in May, June, July, August, September, and fight Crawford at 168, I think Crawford definitely would have beat the shit out of him and probably knocked him out. I don't think Canelo would have stood a chance at all if he ballooned up to like 200 pounds and came down 4 months later at 168. I think Canelo would have been exhausted. He wouldn't have had any legs. I think Crawford would have knocked his ass out. But the way he's doing it right now, I think Canelo should still be the favorite against Crawford. Turki Alalshikh may have saved Canelo from getting his ass whipped in September, to be honest with you. Anyway, keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I leave that donation for that camel rice pilaf yogurt sauce with almonds and that little salad. Yo, I'm in the breeze.